Hey transfer students, welcome to our Transfer Student Q&A Live on air, brought to you by the Office of New Student Services here at the University of Texas at Austin. Thank you for joining us. My name is Sarah Villarreal and I will be your host this afternoon. As you may have guessed, I am an orientation advisor and this summer is my second orientation on staff, welcoming new students to the university. I am from Harlingen, Texas in the Rio Grande Valley, and I just graduated with a degree in geography. I'll go ahead and let the rest of the panelists introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Alejandro Villafuerte, and I'm now a senior in psychology, originally from Oxnard, California, but I transferred from an institution in San Antonio, Texas. And my favorite thing about UT would definitely have to be the little garden thing in Goldsmith Hall. It's a really great place for me.
Hello everyone, my name is Corinne. I am a third-year biochemistry pre-med major from Cedar Park, Texas. I transferred from Austin Community College, or ACC, and my favorite thing about UT is the schools on campus.
Hello, my name is Cody Vesley. I'm a third-year undeclared major from Waxahachie, Texas. I transferred from art school in Georgia called Stanton College of Art and Design. And one of my favorite things about UT is how big the campus is. It's a lot of walking, but I never get bored or not see anything new whenever I'm going to class. It's pretty neat.
All right. Thanks, y'all. We're going to spend the first part of this program discussing what to expect at orientation. Then we will turn to you and address some questions you have asked or are hopefully currently asking on Twitter. Please use the hashtag #TransferQA. Again, that's hashtag transfer, letter Q, letter A, hashtag transferQA. But before we talk orientation, I want to take a moment to allow each of our panelists to share a bit about their own journey to UT Austin and address some questions that, and to offer y'all any advice from like one transfer student to another. Our panelists do not and possibly cannot represent each unique journey to UT, but we hope their insight will be helpful to all of you tuning in today. Alejandro, want to get started?
Sure. So I actually spent my first year of higher education at a community college in San Antonio called Northwest Vista. When I came in there, I already had about 30 credit hours or so I was considered a sophomore. So after spending my first year there and a few summer courses, I transferred into UT with junior status. Despite the fact that I am a first-generation American and a first-generation student, the transition to UT was really, I won't say simple, but it was beneficial because there are so many resources here on campus to help facilitate the process. So definitely try to break out of your shell and put yourself out there to join new student orgs and to find out what's there for you.
So I transferred from Austin Community College, or ACC, and the biggest challenge I faced when I transferred was the size of the classes. Back at ACC, I would have like 30 to 35 other students, and then I came here to UT and I was in lecture halls with like 400 other students. That was really like intimidating for me, and one way that I was able to overcome that was by getting to know my teaching assistants and my professors. Not only did it make the learning experience easier, but it was also I started feeling more comfortable in my classes, and so that made a huge difference for me.
So I spent my first year of higher education, like in Georgia. I came from an early college high school, so whenever I transferred to UT, I had a lot of credits I actually came in for complete. So I started working on like what degree I wanted, like right from the start. And my advisors were like really great at handling that situation where whenever I first registered, I was like, oh no, am I going to get like things that are going to count towards my degree? And they were like, yeah, you have like all of these that like you have plenty of options for. And I ended up getting a lot of classes that did count towards the degree. Some advice that I wish people would have like really like hammered home for me was like take advantage of those like first year student services that UT offers. They offer a lot of them, and they're commonly more marketed towards freshmen, but UT is making more of an initiative to let transfer students know that they're also eligible for that. And I would highly recommend that. Looking back and like having been an orientation advisor and learning about these new services, I think definitely like having those would have made the transition a lot smoother and a lot more fun.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing your insight. We have already had the pleasure of welcoming one group of transfer orientation students, but we will have 2 more summer orientation sessions, as well as an August orientation for transfer students. Let's turn it over to Alejandro to give us a bit of a rundown about orientation.
Thanks, Sarah. So, like she said, there will be 2 more transfer sessions happening in July, followed by one happening later in August, right before school starts. So, while y'all have navigated colleges on another campus before, orientation at UT is a critical component to getting off to a great start as a Longhorn. All students attending orientation, with the exception of those attending August orientation, have the option of staying on campus in the Jester East Residence Hall for the duration of the session. If, however, you choose to stay off campus, you are more than welcome to commute. If you have not registered for orientation yet, simply visit the new Student Services website.
Thanks, Alejandro. Corinne, how about you help us learn about what traveling to orientation is like?
Sure. So check-in will take place from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. on day 1 on Thursday. Be sure to plan ahead for and account for traffic in the morning. Unless you're a student veteran, your check-in will be in the Jester Center. If you drove to the UT campus, your most convenient location for parking will be the Brazos Garage, which is located off of MLK Street. Orientation advisors will be stationed all the way around and help direct you to the check-in line. Before entering the Jester Center, you will say goodbye to your family and friends. If you are a student veteran, your check-in will be located in the Student Services Building, or SSB, which is right off of Dean Keaton. You can park in the 27th Street Garage, which is right behind SSB. And then after checking in, you will attend the Student Veteran Services Pre-Orientation Program, the Welcome Program, and then your college meeting. If you're staying in Jester and you are a student veteran, you can obtain the key to your room at the Jester East front desk after the college meeting. If your family is attending family orientation, check-in will be located in the Student Activity Center, or SAC. Family orientation will be a free one-day program for families, and if your family is coming with you, we recommend encouraging them to attend orientation. And in order to register for that, you simply go to utaustinfamilyorientation.com.
Thanks, Corinne. Alejandro, can you shed some light on what happens during day 1 of transfer orientation?
Definitely. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening on day 1. So the first thing you'll receive when you arrive to the check-in, you'll receive this booklet with all the required information, and all the required stuff will be highlighted orange for your convenience. And on that note, the first one takes place at 10 a.m. in the Spanish Oaks Terrace. You'll learn more about that when you get here. And it's called the College Roll Call. From there, you'll move on to the first official welcome event of the university, called the Longhorn State of Mind. And that's to introduce y'all to the team. So from there, you'll be dismissed by college to attend your college meeting. And from there, you'll be separate into your department, where you learn a lot of exciting opportunities about your major and such. And then you'll move on to receive a slip of paper to know when your academic advising appointment will take place. And with them, you'll hash out what your schedule is going to look like and get a taste for what campus life is going to be like with them. So following that, there will be this fun optional event called Longhorn Lounge, which is a really fun place to relax, recharge, and learn about resources on campus from orientation advisors and other leaders on campus. Afterwards, the first offering of a program called U Transform will take place, and that's a program developed by student learning development specialists to help y'all get acclimated to campus and to make the facilitation and make transitioning to the university as easy as possible. And that takes place from 4 to 5 p.m., so don't miss that out. But if you aren't able to make it, there are 2 more offerings the following day. Afterwards, there's a really fun and informative transfer Q&A dinner panel thing. We've actually all done it before. It's really fun, where you'll get all your questions answered from student leaders while you grab dinner. Afterwards, the next required program is called Longhorns to the Core, where you will learn more about the 42-hour core requirements for new Longhorns. And next, you will go to the college cohort meeting, where you'll learn about the registration process from orientation advisors. and they will then lead you to the last signature program called Public Pages, which is a show produced and run by orientation advisors to help you learn about how to stay safe on campus.
Sounds great, Alejandro. Cody, what is there to do during the evenings at orientation?
Well, there's lots to do. Starting off, we have orientation advisors like me and Sarah and the Traditions Committee have been putting on or like organizing events for a really long time, and we're really excited to share them with you. The first one that you'll have an opportunity to see is the Perfect Pitch, which it teaches you about UT traditions, and that's going to happen right after ripping the pages. There's going to be orientation advisors who point you to that location. It's a great show. Lots of jokes, lots of singing, and you get to learn about your new campus. At the same time, and late into the night, there are several other programs such as Thunderground, which includes free bowling, billiards, and air hockey over at the Texas Union. There's also UT Time, where you get to relax with your fellow transfer students that you just met and get to know them a little better in a very relaxed setting. That's going to be over at the 2609 building, over by the Student Services building. There's also Game Station, where you can play video games and board games with your fellow transfer students and your orientation advisors and see who's better at Super Smash Bros. And then finally, there's Thrills and Chills, which is a perfect game if you're looking to get to know your fellow new students a lot better. We have a lot of different activities that are specifically designed to encourage like an environment to really get to know each other and make some connections.
All right, thanks, Cody. Corinne, what can students expect on day 2?
So on day 2, be on the lookout for required programs, but there are also plenty of opportunities for you to choose from, depending on your specific interests. Make sure you make it to your advising appointment on day 2, but if you have questions, always will be available in the main lobby of the Chester East building to ask general registration questions. And that will take place from 8 a.m. to noon. You'll notice that there are some blocks for Discover UT, and these are times when you get to choose which UT resource or program you would like to learn more about. Class registration will be from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on day 2. Some students will register in a location that was specified to them by their college, but there's also a general registration location, which is the Fawn Academic Center, or FAC. So orientation advisors as well as academic advisors will be present in the FAC to help answer any last minute questions that you may have about registration. And then after class registration, you will definitely want to stop by the Student Org and Resource Fair in the West Mall, which will be right outside of FAC. And there will be over 80 student orgs there, and you can learn more about student orgs that we have here on campus.
Awesome. All right, that concludes the first part of this program, which is kind of like a general overview of what to expect at orientation. But now, for now, it's time to get those questions on Twitter. Again, please use the hashtag #TransferQA, so transfer letter Q, letter A, and we'll get to those questions. All right, so it's time for our first question. All right. So, Twitter handle @freebaby_716. Do you all live on campus your first year? Did y'all live on campus the first year that you came to UT? Would it be unwise to get an apartment?
So I did not spend my first year at UT in the dorms. I spent my freshman year in the dorms, so I kind of got that experience. And whenever I came here, I was looking for something that like would fit my budget. So like I was looking around, and I ended up picking one of the co-ops in Austin. But like I know so many transfer students that have lived on campus their first year and they loved it, and I know people who have apartments and they love that. It just kind of depends on like what your living preference is and kind of what you're looking for in like a living space. Especially someone who's already gone through the first year of college. But just kind of definitely look into your different options, and don't be afraid to call like the Division of Housing and Food Services to get more information about like what living on campus is like.
Awesome. Cool. Go to our second question, which is from Facebook. All right. I went to my orientation last June 25th and 26th, and I had a chance to get only 2 classes. My question is, when am I going to have a second chance to choose more classes? Alejandro?
There's actually this website called the Registration Information Sheet, or the RIS page, and that lets you know all the times throughout the summer that you're able to register for courses. It tells you the exact date and the exact times. And further, like during the first 12 days of classes or so, there's a big add drop access period where people are adding and dropping courses without penalty. So,
Awesome. Cool. Next set of questions. All right. Can you pick your professors? How does it work? Corinne?
So UT has a thing called the course schedule page, and that is where you're able to see every single course that UT offers, every single section. And then for each section, there's going to be a certain professor. So it's as easy as logging in with your EIT and password, and you have access to all of that information. So you definitely have the option of picking professors for your classes.
Awesome. Cool. Next question. What happens if I do not get all the classes I want?
So I kind of spoke about this earlier. The way that the degrees work, there's like so many different aspects of the degree that you can work on. For example, like the communications degree, one of the requirements is that you take 2 courses outside of your intended major. So if you are a journalism major in school communications, then they would ask you to take maybe 2 courses in radio, television, and film. And there's so many classes like in those different programs that are available to all students that you can mix and match, and a lot of the universities have different requirements with their degrees like that. And then also you have your elective slots, which can be in pretty much whatever you want that you have available to you, and your counselors are amazing at working with you on that and making sure that you aren't taking anything that isn't going to count towards your degree.
Awesome. All right. Next question. What do I do if the class I need is restricted?
So if a class is restricted and it's one that you need, chances are that it might be restricted to your specific group that you're part in, for example, your specific major or your specific college. In case it's a class that you need but it's not restricted to you, you always have the option of contacting the department that's offering the class, and then they can work with you, they can work around it to try to get you into the class, especially if it's something that you need to take.
All right, great. Next question. Should I wait until after registration before deciding on which kind of laptop and software to buy?
It just kind of depends on like what you want to do with the laptop. If you think like you're definitely gonna need it for your classes, then you can definitely go ahead and purchase them. I mean, it's just kind of based on your needs. Like whenever I bought a new laptop, I knew that like I needed something that could run like video editing software, and I was taking classes that would require that. So that's something that I definitely looked into. But if you just need something like Word, a lot of the computers on campus have most of the programs, like all of them have Microsoft Office on them. So if you aren't like wanting to buy a computer or like a personal computer, there's definitely like labs all over campus that you can use.
Awesome. All right. Question. I'm trying to figure out where to go on the website to find out what classes transferred from my other institution. What is the best way to go about doing this? Alejandro?
There's this website on UT's main site called the ATE, which is Automated Transfer Equivalency. So you have to search by sending institution. You type in the name of the course and then the either 4- or 3-digit number that the course corresponded to. You click the submit button, and then it'll tell you what, if any, transfer equivalency it has when it comes to this institution.
Awesome. All right. Next question. Again, it's from Twitter. So Twitter handle @Jose Maganel. All the classes I need are closed. Do more spots open up at orientation? Corinne?
So the way registration works at UT is that for every orientation session, UT makes sure to open up new spots so that regardless of the session that you attend, you still have the same chances and opportunities to register. So some classes might say closed for now, but that's because they're not normally open outside of the registration time period. But then once registration opens on day 2 at 1 p.m., spots open and then you're able to register.
All right. Next questions. All right. What support is there if you are struggling in a class? Cody?
There's lots of different things that you can do. I would say like the first thing you should do is definitely get in touch with your professor. Like if you're having trouble with like a test and like the way that your studying is working out, I highly encourage you to meet up with your professor and be like, hey, how would you recommend that like I study for your test? And they'll tell you like, are the tests more lecture based or based on the textbooks? And then you can also work with your teaching assistants. All professors and teaching assistants are required to hold office hours, whether you're going to attend them or not. So definitely take advantage of that. Also, UT offers lots of services like the Singer Learning Center, which has group and individual tutoring. And then there's also the Undergraduate Writing Center located in the Flana Academic Center, where you can get help on any written assignment or written work that you need help on. Like I went there to get help on a resume and a personal statement. They can help you with pretty much anything.
Awesome. Okay, next question. What do I need to bring to orientation? Alejandro?
Well, obviously bring clothing. Bring comfortable shoes because you will be walking around a lot. It's also been raining a lot recently, so definitely bring an umbrella. Bring a water bottle of some sort to keep refilling it because, again, you will be walking around a lot. It's really hot in Austin, so we'll get acclimated to everything.
All right, awesome. Next question. How do you change your major? Cody?
So I actually advise for undergraduate studies. So I'm pretty familiar with like the internal transfer process. Some school colleges require different things for the internal transfer. Most of them require like an application process. Some of them require information session. So the first step, if you're interested in changing your major, is to contact the college and see what those requirements are. And then I would highly encourage you also to meet face-to-face with like an advisor of some sort. All of the colleges have advisors specifically to advise students who want to switch schools. So definitely work on that. And if it's like within your school, you would talk with your advisor about like changing your major within that college.
All right. Next set of questions. All right. Is UT really as difficult as everyone says it is? How different is it from your previous institution? Corinne, yeah.
So before I came to UT, I knew a couple of people who already went to UT and then still took classes at ACC, and I would personally always hear about how difficult it is and like how the exact same course is a lot harder at UT. When I came here, I definitely noticed the difference. It's not necessarily that it's harder, but it's more that the expectations that your professors have of you are a little bit different. There's a lot more. It's a lot more like up to you to study and keep up and make sure that you're on track with with the material that the professor presents. But again, like for me, the learning experience was so much easier just because I took the time to get to know my professors and my teaching assistants. When you go to office hours, they have all these tips and recommendations, and they're like super helpful to help you like get through the class and like give your best for exams and everything. So they really can help you out with that.
Alejandro?
So at the community college I went to, the course loads weren't very difficult. Like it didn't demand much of you, but here at UT, there is a higher standard for learning, so you do have to apply yourself from the very beginning. And like Corinne said, the best thing you could do is to over prepare. So whether that be going to the office hours with your professor, with the TA, or going to the resources that Cody mentioned, like the Sanger Learning Center, the Undergraduate Writing Center, getting up with writing. So yes, UT challenges you more, but it's definitely doable if you apply yourself.
So with my experience, I've actually had experience at a four-year university and a community college. The difference between like university and community college that I've noticed is that community college is geared to get you into university, while university is geared to get you into the real world. So what might be perceived as more difficult is that we're actually trying to prepare you for what your career is going to be like, and to work in the professional world where they expect you to know that knowledge like the back of your hand. Whenever I came from my four-year institution over to university, something that I was really surprised about is how different the classes were taught. I came from a school where all the classes were like studio-based, where you were working with your hands and it wasn't very lecture-heavy, while UT is a lot of lecture unless you have like classes with labs. So I had to adjust to that and adjust accordingly to where previously I might have been able to get by the class without doing the required reading. But here at university, I had to change that because they were actually going over the things in class. And if I didn't, then I was going to be behind. So just be prepared to change your learning and study habits to adapt to it, and then you should be fine.
All right, thanks y'all. Okay, the next set of questions kind of involves around like extracurricular activities. All right, so it's kind of like three questions in one. So one would be, what advice do you have for transfer students wanting to get involved on campus? Also, when does recruitment for student organizations begin? And how easy is it to join organizations after the semester has started? Alejandro?
So the best way to get involved on campus would be to be on campus, walk around, see the different organizations that are actually seeking new members. So a lot of them are tabling in the first couple of weeks at either the West Mall, which is the area in front of the Flan Academic Center, as well as the Gregory Plaza area, which is the Gregory Gym. So yeah, aside from that, there's also this website called HornsLink, which has all 1,300 registered student organizations on there, and you could search by interest, whether that be more art-based things like dancing or music, or things that are more physical, like joining intramural sports, things of that nature. Recruitment begins like from the very first day. People are actively searching for new members, and they're looking for transfer students just as much as they are first-year freshmen.
Can I say on to that?
Yeah,
about like joining in like later in the semester. Like I understand, like as non-traditional students, you might want to be involved in campus, but not living on campus, and then also you might have a job occupation outside of the university. Just be persistent with like if there's an organization that you really want to join, just get their email and then just email them back, because they, like Alejandro said, that like, they're really looking for you. And as long as you're persistent about it, they'll take you in at any point during the semester. They're always looking.
All right, awesome. Next set of questions. Do any of you have jobs off campus or know people who do? How hard is it to balance that and school? Corinne?
So I do have a job off campus. I work at Starbucks as a barista. And at first, when I came to UT, I actually got my job this summer before my first semester here at UT. So I was working full time during those last few weeks of summer. And then when I came here to UT, I decided to keep my job and then try to work on the weekends mostly, but also try to work on weekdays. And once classes started, it only took me a couple of weeks to realize that I wasn't able to keep up. So I decided to switch and only work on weekends, and that has been working out great for me ever since. So I would say it's definitely doable to have a job off campus. It's just it might take some time to figure out what schedule is best for you, what hours you want, how many hours you want to work, what days you want to work, and just kind of work around that and make sure that you're still dedicating time to your classes and to study.
All right, awesome. Next question. What advice do you have for someone who is older than other transfer students?
I would say don't be afraid to be as engaged as some of the younger students. Like this is going to be your first year at UT, and we understand that like it's new to you, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. Don't be afraid to be as excited about like organizations or the football games as like freshmen. It's all a new experience for everybody. I would also say be patient with other students because they haven't been exposed to the university setting like transfer students have. So they're definitely going through a different process than you are. So just be aware of that, but don't be afraid to like let them know also and like educate them about like certain things and like give them advice, kind of be like mentors to them.
Awesome.
Don't be afraid to be engaged.
Awesome. All right, cool. What can I do this summer to best prepare for the fall? Corinne?
So a lot of students will find that taking summer classes is a good way to like stay active as in terms of classes and like academically. If not, there's a lot of opportunities to get busy during the summer. There's internships, getting into research. Summer's a great time to be able to do that. Maybe getting a job on or off campus as well. But yeah, I would say there's like a lot of ways to stay active during the summer. If you kind of like have your classes, your fall classes like figured out, maybe you might want to like check the syllabus for those classes, like previous syllabus, and maybe try to get ahead. Check out the textbooks. Maybe if you want to get started on your reading, that's also an option. But yeah.
Also, make sure to research the area around Austin you'll be living if you're not going to be living on campus. Like for example, where could you do your laundry? What are good places to eat at? Things of that nature. So don't just focus on the academics, also focus on your social and day-to-day life aspects of your life as well.
All right, cool. And kind of on that note, will I be able to use the rec sports facilities at orientation? Additionally, what is available to stay active during the semester?
So I talked about this whenever we did the transfer Q&A panel like 2 weeks ago. So whenever you come to orientation, you'll be given a name tag, and while you're at orientation, all of the facilities will be open to you. Just make sure you have that name tag on, and then they'll let you through. And then whenever you finally get on campus and have your student ID, you can just scan in whenever you want to come in. As long as you're enrolled for classes, you'll be able to just walk in after being scanned. There's like so many things to stay active. There's 2 workout facilities, Gregory Gym and Rec Sports, depending on what you prefer. There's also Clark Field, which is like an outdoor facility with a running track. I know a lot of people go out there and work out if they like going outside. And then there's intramural sports. That's a great way to stay active that a lot of people do. And then there's also clubs and organizations that are focused on fitness or sports, and they have like workout programs that go along with it. There's plenty of opportunities to stay active and stay fit. You just kind of have to like explore what you want.
Just walking around on campus is workout itself.
Also go to class.
All right. Cool. Do y'all have any advice for out-of-state students attending UT?
So I was born and raised in Texas, and I went out of state for a little bit. If you are coming in out of state, just be prepared for maybe a little bit of a culture shock. I know I went to Georgia and it was still in the South, but it was still very different from Texas. Be prepared for a lot of y'alls if you're coming from the North. I guess the biggest thing, if you're interested in obtaining residency for in-state tuition, be sure to contact the residency office as soon as possible, so you can start that process.
All right, awesome. Next question. Does anyone know the processing time for the meningitis info? Can I physically hand it in the day before orientation and be fine for registration, or should I fax it tomorrow? I would say I'll take that one. Regarding meningitis stuff, I think your best options would be to fax it, or just to hand it in probably day one of orientation. If you want more info on that, you can just contact the New Student Services office. Their number is 512-471-3304. So just call that number, just standard office hours, 8 to 5, and they can give you some more information regarding meningitis or other medical related things. All right, next question. How do you get tickets to athletic events?
I forget the name of the office. Athletics?
Is it Texas Athletics Office?
Hey.
Texas Athletics Office.
There's actually this really awesome package deal for University of Texas at Austin students. I believe it's a little under $200. It's called the Big Ticket, and that one lets you attend all of the football games that'll happen at UT during the fall, as well as attend all the other sports events for free. So that includes basketball, volleyball, soccer, and other stuff. It's really great. Good value. Check it out.
All right, cool. Next set of questions. All right. Will we really be able to meet new people at orientation? Cody?
Yes. You will meet lots of new people. I mean, unless you came here with like 100 people that you know, there's gonna be so many opportunities to meet new people. For the most part, everything's pretty randomized. So, I mean, whenever you go into the required programs, you're gonna be sitting by someone new. Whenever you are in your wing cohort, you're gonna be meeting someone new. You might room with someone completely new that you've never met before during orientation for the main adjust your ease. And then also there's the evening programs. That's kind of up to you, how much you want to put yourself out there to meet new people and get to know fellow new students. We highly encourage it because we have lots of opportunities in place for that to happen.
All right, awesome. So kind of on the same note of meeting new people, the question is, I'm wondering how to go about finding roommates and places to live here in Austin. Any recommendations on where to look?
If you're living on campus, the Division of Housing and Food Services has this option where you could search for a roommate, and you can look for them based off your interests and similar personality types, and then kind of pref other people. As for if you're living on campus, you can go to the UT Transfer orientation page or UT Transfer page on Facebook and just ask people if they'd like to live. You've done that.
Awesome. Next question, also related to housing. I'm going to be a sophomore in the fall, and I applied for on-campus housing and received an email saying I might be assigned to a room, but I have not received a housing contract. So should I be looking for an apartment or something now? I just don't know for sure. If I do need to be looking for an apartment, what are some good ones to look into? As far as I think I can take the first part of this question. If you have questions about kind of housing contract, things like that, please contact the Division of Housing and Food Service, and they can give you specific information related to your case. As far as looking at an apartment, there are a lot of apartment locating services here in Austin, and many of them are free. So take advantage of those. Of course, there are other online services, or just of course, just driving around Austin. Just know that there are a lot of housing options. Just jump on that sooner rather than later. Awesome. Next question. What is your favorite part of orientation?
So mine is evening programs. No bias. I just think it's really like we put together so many like different types of activities for everyone. I really feel like we've provided like something for everybody. Like if you are very like extroverted and like to be competitive, then like game station is like a really good option for you. If you like more laid back things, just like conversation type, then UT time is for you. If you like just having like a lot of more like casual interactions, but are like still like fun, then Thunderground is really good because it's kind of like what you would see at like a bowling alley or a pool like hall. And then also there's Thrills and Chills, which is like designed specifically to help people get to know each other. There's something for everyone. So go.
All right, cool. And then I think y'all can answer this question too.
Okay, so my favorite part when I transferred in last year was this show called Malvern State of Mind, which I mentioned earlier. It's like the official welcome to university. And it's really good because it exposes you to different people's transitions into University of Texas at Austin, how that played out for them, and then also how this university has helped them to grow as a person. So it's really inspiring as well as very informative and helpful too.
Kind of like what Cody said, my favorite part of orientation was the evening programs, and it's like the part that I remember the most, like a year later, almost a year later. That's where I met like a lot of cool people. I was able to interact with OAs, they shared their story with me, and like they were able to hear my story. It was like a really great bonding time, and I was able to connect with a lot of different people. So I highly recommend evening programs.
Awesome. Cool. Next question. Will we all be assigned an orientation advisor or an OA? What do the OAs do? Cool.
So if you're living in Chester East, you'll be living in the dorms, and like each OA is designated like on a hall. So we'll have like about 15 rooms that like we reside over. And by that, when you'll have wing meetings, like at some point during day one, you'll meet with other new students, and then your orientation advisor will go over how our registration and course schedule systems work. And so in that way, you kind of have an assigned OA. And then also we have cohort meetings, which are for people who are not living in Chester East and are commuting to orientation. And then in that way, you also have an assigned OA. But all of the orientation advisors are available to you. Like if you're in my wing, you don't have to just come to me to ask questions. You can go up to Corinne, or you can go up to Alejandro, or go up to Sarah, and they'll be able to answer those questions just as well as I would be able to. So don't be afraid to approach any of the other orientation staff.
So as for what we actually do, we're just here to help facilitate your time at orientation, to make the experience as pleasant as possible, and to answer any questions you might have.
Awesome. Next question. What does academic advising look like at orientation? Corinne?
So basically what happens for academic advising is when you come at your college meeting, you will receive a folder, and especially there's going to be like a sheet of paper that tells you what time your academic advising equipment will be. And so basically you just show up to the location, whatever building it is, check in with the front desk, and then you'll be able to meet with your academic advisor. And then they will be the ones kind of like telling you what classes you should be taking. They will most likely offer you a lot of backups in case like your main plan doesn't work out as you want it to. And they're pretty much available to you during like the rest of your time here. Like for example, if you go to registration on day 2 and then you still have like some questions that pop up later, you can always email them. And so yeah, basically it's a time for like academic advisor to kind of tell you what you should be taking or what you should be looking for in terms of classes.
All right, awesome. Next question, what are the benefits of attending an orientation session? Cody?
So the benefits are that you get to come on campus. You get to the option of taking tours and being shown around by orientation staff. You get to meet current students and have your questions answered right then and there. You get to meet fellow people who are in the same situation as you, and that you might be able to, well, they're all there as transfer students. And so you'll have that in common, and it makes it a lot easier to kind of like share that experience with someone and like feel like you're being understood. And then also it's a great opportunity, like if you have anything that you need to get taken care of, like with financial aid or housing or with veterans services, you'll be right there on campus and we'll be able to direct you there and get you to point people that will be able to assist you. I think it's very like beneficial, especially if you're just kind of feeling overwhelmed and like you just need someone to help guide you through it.
Awesome. Next question, what opportunities are available to transfer students when classes begin? And I guess to start with, Cody touched on this earlier, but the university is making a lot of initiatives to kind of help improve like the transfer student experience here at UT. One of those being the new 2609 kind of transfer center. And that, I believe the cross streets are University Avenue and Dean Keaton, which is right next to the Student Services building. And it's basically a space designed just for transfer students. There's like a little lounge space. There's also a little kitchen. So if you want to heat up your lunch or anything like that. So I think I just wanted to start off by promoting that 2609 center, which if you attend UT time, you can get a free preview of what that space looks like. Anybody else want to add anything?
I've actually been to that building. They opened it up like 2 weeks ago, so it's brand new. They're still like remodeling some stuff for y'all, so it's going to be even more awesome by the time the fall semester rolls around. I wish I'd set a building like that when I first transferred in, so definitely take advantage of that area that's meant for y'all. As for opportunities on campus for you, everything that's available to freshmen is available to you. So if you feel like you need help or academic support or anything, definitely feel free to seek out those resources.
Awesome. Next question. I will be living with relatives in Cedar Park. Do you have advice for commuter students? Is there a secure place I can leave my belongings between classes?
That's me. So I live in Cedar Park. Sorry. So I still live in Cedar Park with my family, and I take the bus every day to campus. So it's something that's definitely doable. Sorry, what was the question?
Is there a secure place I can leave my belongings between classes?
Yeah, so we have lockers available for rental, for example, like in the wash hall, and I'm sure other buildings have that service as well. So for example, like one way to use that is if you plan on like going to the gym and you kind of have like another bag, you can use the like rental service to store this out.
And then I believe the 2609 Center as well also has lockers. So definitely a lot of places for y'all to store your belongings safely. All right, next question. I'm only able to attend August orientation. Will I be at a disadvantage because I cannot make it to a summer session?
So like Corinne said earlier, how our registration system works is that even though some classes will stay closed, that's specifically because they blocked out classes so that y'all can register and y'all have a fair chance at getting those classes. And this works for every orientation session, freshman and transfer, because we understand that current students have already registered for classes, and it wouldn't be fair if we were just like, oh, fend for yourself, but that's not how UT works. We're going to get you the classes that are going to count towards whatever degree you're working for. You don't have to worry about that. Just show up with like a positive attitude and ready to achieve whatever goals you want at orientation, and you'll be okay.
All right, awesome. Next question that I think all three of y'all can answer if you want to. Do you think UT is a good place for transfer students?
it's a really great place, like I mentioned before. There's so many opportunities here for y'all to grow as individuals, and you will not be left in the dust if you have problems with academics. There's definitely a lot of things out there for you. You just need to go out of your way to find them, and they will be there for you.
Yeah, kind of like what Alejandro was saying. It's a great institution for transfer students. The good thing about UT is that they are constantly making improvements and making changes to try to make transfer students feel as welcome as possible, and try to open as many services for us as possible. And so it's really, there's also some effort that has to come from you. If you're willing to go out and look for those resources, make connections, you will find that they are there and available to you. So just put yourself out there.
Yeah, I would just say, like, remember why you wanted to come to UT. You might have like taken a different route to come to UT, but the thing is you're here, and you're here for a reason. And UT admitted you; they want you here, so they're willing to work with you to do whatever they need to get you to where you want to be. But like also what Corinne said is you need to be flexible, because you did take a different route, and just like the route that you took, your experience here might be different than someone who started out as a freshman. But don't let that scare you. There's lots of things that you can do and get involved in that will make UT your special place.
All right, awesome. Okay, and finally, I'm coming from a small community college. What is the best way to learn how to navigate such a big campus? Alejandro?
I came from a really small community college. Well, during orientation, I got lost about a dozen times because I didn't go on a campus tour. So go on a campus tour. That's the absolute best way to learn about the heart of campus, what it's called, I believe. It's the original 40 acres. And then definitely have a campus map on you at all times for your first 2 weeks. So you're doing a bunch of these. You walk in one direction, you realize you're going the wrong way, go backwards. Yeah, so go on a campus tour. They actually have many more options for you all this time around as opposed to last year. And
Yeah.
Also, one tip that I have for y'all is that on the very first day of classes, I would recommend trying to get to your classes like maybe 30 to 45 minutes earlier, because you'll still be looking for the building and looking for the classroom, and like you definitely don't want to be late like Alice on your very first day. So make sure you plan ahead and just give yourself some time to figure out where your classroom will be.
Awesome. And how can I get around Austin without a car?
I actually use the bus system to get around the city of Austin. It's fairly easy to navigate. It's called the Capital Metro system, and it's free to y'all as UT students. So you just hop on the bus, swipe your card, and it'll take you to wherever you need to go.
UTIT.
Yes, UTIT. Let's see. Online, you could search up all the routes that are available to you, as well as each location which they can stop at. So.
Also, if you have like Google Maps, the Google Maps application on your smartphone, you can just type in like where you're coming from and then your destination, and it builds like a bus schedule or a bus route for you. So that's kind of like an easier way to figure out what buses you need to take. And there's also a train, a really cool train that takes you like all the way to North Austin. So there's a lot of ways to get around without a car.
Also, Austin is a very bike-friendly city. So if you like cycling or have a bicycle and you're comfortable riding that in the streets, then I would recommend it. Just make sure to buy a U-Log and get along.
All right, so that's going to wrap up the question portion of this program. So team, let's leave our viewers with some tips for orientation and transitioning to UT. Alejandro, we'll start with you.
Let's see. The biggest piece of advice I'd have to give would be to don't be afraid to break out of your shell. There are many, many opportunities for you to grow as a person here on campus. Just put yourself out there. Really try to go for it and make this experience as wonderful as possible.
I would say don't be afraid to kind kind of like be flexible. Like it's possible that things may not go as planned, especially for your first semester. Like you might find some difficulties academically or difficulties making connections. But I would recommend just keeping a positive attitude in that and knowing that these things do take time, and eventually you will find your place and you will feel comfortable and you will end up feeling like you belong here at UT. So just be flexible and learn from your mistakes.
I said this before, kind of in the very beginning, but like something I wish people would have told me about is like all of the like different programs that are specifically for first year students, to get them acclimated to campus and get them connected with other first year students. So my biggest piece of advice would definitely be to take advantage of that. There's so many things that you can do that will like help you like academically and socially. Like there's 360 connections, which are a whole host of programs that are designed to get first year students in programs that are in like a field or like subject that like is very interesting to them. And you can look that up on the UT website. There's a lot of them. Also, some colleges and schools and services have like mentoring programs that are open to all first year students. Like the Gender and Sexuality Center has a mentoring program. Just don't be afraid to ask around, and don't be embarrassed to be like, hey, I'm a new student here. I'm a transfer student, so I'm a little older than some people, but like our staff is aware of these situations, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. We're all or are these students, so we understand.
All right, awesome. That about does it. Thank you again for tuning in. We look forward to seeing y'all at orientation coming up really soon. In the meantime, please do not hesitate to contact the new Student Services office. Again, their phone number is 512-471-3304. Additionally, you can email the office at nss@austin.utexas.edu or follow us on Twitter at UT Orientation. And that's about all. Hook 'em.